These absolute mad lads conquered more land than anyone in human history. From horseback. While medieval Europeans were arguing about whether bathing causes plague, the Mongols speedran, conquering 23% of the world's total land area like it was a Civilization VI achievement. They went from nomadic herders to running an empire that stretched from Korea to Poland, turning devastation into an art form and accidentally inventing religious tolerance because they literally couldn't be bothered to care what god you prayed to before they killed you. Picture Mongolia in the 1100s. It's basically Mad Max meets a petting zoo. The steppes are colder than your ex's heart in winter, hotter than a laptop running cyberpunk in summer. It's grassland as far as you can see. Imagine Kansas, but with more murderous intentions and fewer Walmarts. The Mongols aren't even unified yet. They're split into tribes: Naimans, Karites, Merkits, Taichiuds. Sounds like someone naming their Dungeons and Dragons party after sneezing. Everyone's stealing each other's horses, wives, and yurts in an endless cycle of revenge that makes Game of Thrones look like Sesame Street. These people are built different. Mongol kids learn to ride before they can walk. By age 5, they're shooting arrows from horseback. By 10, they're helping with raids. It's like if Spartan training had a baby with rodeo culture and fed it exclusively fermented mare's milk. Yes, that's a real thing they drank, called erag, and it's allegedly nasty. The Mongols are living that nomadic lifestyle. No cities, no farms, just vibes and occasional wholesale slaughter. They follow their herds, live in yurts, portable felt tents that are basically ancient tiny homes, and have a social system based entirely on how good are you at violence. Spoiler alert, they're very good at violence. The steppe is surrounded by actual civilizations. China to the south with their Great Wall and superiority complex, Persia to the southwest with their poetry and mathematics, and Europe to the west still trying to figure out if tomatoes are poisonous. These settled folks look at the Mongols like we look at people who still use flip phones. Backwards, irrelevant, and definitely not a threat. Oh, how wrong they were. Temujin becomes Genghis Khan, 1162 to 1206. The origin story. A kid named Temujin is born clutching a blood clot, which Mongol shamans interpret as, "This baby's going to kill everyone." His dad gets poisoned when he's 9. His family gets kicked out of their tribe, and they're reduced to eating roots and rats. It's basically Batman's origin story, but with more starvation and zero inheritance. Temujin's wife, Berta, gets kidnapped by the Merkits, classic Steppe Tuesday, and he has to beg help from his blood brother Jamuka to get her back. When she returns pregnant, Temujin just shrugs and raises the kid anyway. That's confidence, or maybe just practical math about survival odds on the steppes. Through a combination of brilliant military tactics, progressive policies, he promotes based on merit, not birth, revolutionary, and absolutely psychotic levels of determination, Temujin unifies the Mongol tribes by 1206. He takes the title Genghis Khan, meaning universal ruler, which is like naming yourself CEO of Earth and then actually pulling it off. He creates the Yasa, a legal code that includes gems like death penalty for peeing in water sources, hygiene matters, cause death for theft, unless you steal an entire country, that's cool, and complete religious freedom. Because who has time for theological debates when there's conquering to do? The China Speedrun, 1207-1215, tutorial level complete. Genghis looks at the Jin dynasty of northern China and sees a massive loot box waiting to be opened. The Jin have been playing Mongol tribes against each other for decades. Classic divide and conquer. Genghis Uno reverses them by showing up with a unified Mongol army. The Mongols realize they suck at siege warfare. Turns out horses can't climb walls. Who knew? So they do what any reasonable person would: kidnap Chinese engineers and make them explain how catapults work. It's like forcing the IT department to fix your computer at gunpoint, but with more territorial expansion. By 1215, they take Zhongdu, modern Beijing. The city burns for a month. Genghis Khan invents the concept of making an example. Other cities start surrendering just from hearing the news, like getting ratioed so hard you delete your entire account. Fun fact, Genghis offers to stop attacking if the Jin emperor acknowledges him as overlord. The emperor refuses, moves his capital south, and basically ghosts Genghis Khan. Imagine leaving someone on red when they have 100,000 mounted archers. Bold move, didn't work out. The Khwarezmian mistake, 1219-1221. You done messed up. Here's where it gets spicy. Genghis sends a trade caravan to the Khwarezmian Empire, modern Iran, Central Asia. The governor of Otrar takes one look at these Mongol merchants and goes, "These guys look suspicious," kills them all, and steals their stuff. It's like punching a beehive because you don't like the buzzing sound. Genghis sends ambassadors asking for justice. The Shah kills them too and sends one back with his beard shaved, medieval equivalent of a middle finger emoji. The Shah apparently never heard of proportional response. Genghis Khan takes this personally, very personally. He assembles 200,000 warriors and absolutely deletes the Khwarezmian Empire from existence. Cities that resist are erased. Samarkand, Bukhara, Urgench. We're talking Pyramid of Skulls level devastation. The Shah dies on a random island in the Caspian Sea, hiding like a crypto bro after a rug pull. One city, Nishapur, kills Genghis's son-in-law. His daughter orders every living thing killed. People, cats, dogs, probably even the houseplants. Takes them 3 days to behead everyone. The Mongols build a pyramid of skulls so high birds avoid flying over it. That's not a warning. That's a whole dissertation on consequences. Ogedei Khan, 1229-1241, the drunk uncle era after Genghis dies in 1227, either from falling off a horse, an infected arrow wound, or rough sex with a princess. Historians can't agree, but all three are extremely on brand. His son Ogedei takes over. Ogedei is basically a functional alcoholic with an empire. He loves drinking so much that his brother limits him to 1 cup a day. So this mad lad gets a cup the size of a fish tank. Modern problems require modern solutions. Despite being drunk 24/7, Ogedei is surprisingly competent. He establishes Karakorum as the capital. Finally, the Mongols get a permanent address. He creates a postal system that makes Amazon Prime look slow and continues expanding in literally every direction, because why not? Under Ogedei, the Mongols finish conquering the Jin dynasty, invade Korea. It takes 30 years, Koreans are stubborn, and start eyeing Europe like it's the last slice of pizza. The European vacation, 1236-1242. Surprise! We're here! Ogedei's nephew Batu Khan leads the Mongol tourist trip to Europe. They absolutely demolish Kievan Rus, modern Ukraine, Russia, deleted Poland. A Polish-German army gets destroyed at Legnica so badly. Europeans think the Mongols are using Magic Hungary. King Bela IV spends a year hiding on an island in the Adriatic, like he's in witness protection. European knights, wearing their fancy armor, moving like refrigerators on horseback, meet Mongol-mounted archers who can shoot backwards while retreating at full gallop. It's like bringing a knife to a drone strike. The Mongols invent the fake retreat. They run away. Europeans chase thinking they're winning, then, surprise, you're surrounded. It's the medieval equivalent of, "It's just a prank, bro," but everyone dies. Europeans are so traumatized they think the Mongols are literal demons sent by God to punish them. The Pope calls for a crusade against them, which is hilarious because how do you crusade against people who move faster than your messenger pigeons? Then Ogedei dies, probably from being an alcoholic, shocking, and Batu has to go back for the succession council. Europe is saved by one dude's liver failing. If Ogedei had discovered AA, Paris would probably have a Mongol quarter today. Mongol Khan, 1251-1259, the competent one after a brief succession crisis. Ogedei's widow tries to hold power. It doesn't work. People die. Standard Mongol HR practices, Mongol Khan takes over. He's Genghis's grandson via Tolui, and he means Business Mongol is the Mongol Empire's CEO, who actually reads the quarterly reports. He conducts a census, imagine trying to count nomads, reforms the tax system, and runs the empire like a Fortune 500 company instead of a raiding party that got out of hand. He sends his brother Hulagu to conquer the Middle East and his other brother Kublai to finish China. It's like delegating group projects but with more siege weapons. The Baghdad Speedrun, 1258. Islamic Golden Age has left the Chat. Hulagu Khan arrives at Baghdad, the jewel of the Islamic world, center of learning, home to the House of Wisdom with centuries of accumulated knowledge. The Caliph thinks he's safe because surely no one would destroy such an important city. Hulagu, watch me. The Mongols kill between 200,000 to 2 million people, Medieval census data is basically guessing with confidence. They destroy the irrigation system that took 5,000 years to build. They throw so many books from the House of Wisdom into the Tigris River that it allegedly runs black with ink for 6 months. History's first environmental disaster caused by literature. The caliph is rolled in a carpet and trampled by horses because Mongols believe spilling royal blood on the ground causes natural disasters. They're superstitious but practical, like not walking under ladders while committing genocide. Genghis Khan. The goat of conquest, let's talk numbers. Genghis Khan has so many descendants that 0.5% of the world's male population carries his Y chromosome. That's 16 million dudes walking around with Genghis DNA. Man literally fucked his way into the history books. Your Tinder matches could never. He's also weirdly progressive for a genocidal warlord. Religious tolerance? Check. Meritocracy? Check. Women's rights? By medieval standards? Check. Diplomatic immunity? He invented it. He's like if a LinkedIn influencer actually conquered the world instead of just posting about it. His death is the ancient world's best-kept secret. To keep his burial location hidden, his funeral procession kills everyone they meet on the way. Then the burial team is killed by another team, who are then also killed. It's murders all the way down like a Russian nesting doll of death. To this day, nobody knows where he's buried, despite the Mongolian government looking for him with satellites. Genghis Khan ghosted the entire planet. Kublai Khan, the sellout, according to Mongols. Kublai Khan, Genghis's grandson, conquers China and goes full native. He establishes the Yuan dynasty, moves the capital to Beijing, and basically becomes Chinese emperor, with Mongol characteristics. Marco Polo shows up at his court and writes a book that Europeans think is fantasy because it describes paper money, coal, and pasta. Imagine being so advanced that people think you're writing sci-fi. Kublai gets so fat he needs servants to carry him because walking is for peasants. He tries to invade Japan twice. Both times his fleets get destroyed by typhoons the Japanese call kamikaze, divine wind. God literally says no to Mongol Japan. He also fails to conquer Vietnam because jungle warfare hits different when your entire military doctrine is horses go brrr. Traditional Mongols think he's lost the plot, getting soft with all that civilization. He dies in 1294, morbidly obese and probably depressed that he couldn't conquer literally everything like Grandpa. The empire fragments, 1260–1368, too big to succeed. Here's the thing about conquering everything, you have to actually manage it. The Mongol Empire is like trying to run a multinational corporation where each branch office has its own army and nobody speaks the same language. By 1260, the empire splits into 4 khanates, Yuan dynasty, China. Going full Chinese Ilkhanate, Persia, converting to Islam Golden, Horde, Russia, still being Mongol, but with Vodka Chagatai Khanate, Central Asia. Having an identity crisis, they start fighting each other because of course they do. It's like a family business where all the kids hate each other, but with more cavalry charges. The Black Death enters the chat via Mongol trade routes. The same system that moved silk and spices now moves plague faster than a viral TikTok. Europe loses a third of its population. The Mongols accidentally commit biological warfare on the entire known world. Oops. In China, the Yuan dynasty falls to the Ming in 1368 because the Mongols forgot how to be Mongol. They're charging into battle wearing silk robes and writing poetry. The Chinese kick them out with their own gunpowder technology. Imagine getting evicted with the weapons you taught your landlord to make. The other Khanades slowly dissolve into local dynasties. The Golden Horde holds on the longest, terrorizing Russia until 1502, but by then, they're basically Mongol cosplayers. After the empire collapses, Mongolia goes back to being Mongolia. Nomads, horses, and occasional civil wars. They get conquered by the Qing dynasty, karma's a bitch, gain independence in 1911, become communist in 1924, then democratic in 1990. It's like a speed run through every government type and civilization. Modern Mongolia has 3 million people and 70 million livestock. There are more horses than humans. Downtown Ulaanbaatar has a Louis Vuitton store next to traditional yurt districts. It's the world's emptiest country, You could give everyone in Mongolia 21 football fields of land and still have room left over. But here's the thing, everyone knows the Mongols. They're in every strategy game ever made, Age of Empires, Civilization, Total War, always OP, always banned in competitive play. Ghost of Tsushima's basically, Mongols are scary. The game. Netflix made a show about Marco Polo that's 90% Kublai Khan being awesome. Genghis Khan is on every Mongolian banknote. There's a 131-foot statue of him outside Ulaanbaatar that makes the Statue of Liberty look modest. Mongolia's main airport beer, vodka, and probably toilet paper are named after him. It's like if George Washington had his own energy drink line. The Mongols gave us the concept of diplomatic immunity, religious freedom as state policy, the first international postal system pants. Seriously, they popularized trousers in medieval Europe, globalized trade routes that created the modern world economy. They also killed 10% of the world's population, so mixed legacy. Their military tactics are still studied at West Point. The US military's shock and awe strategy is basically Mongol tactics with air support instead of horses. Modern militaries still use their double envelopment maneuvers, they just use tanks instead of mounted archers. In 2020, a study found that the Mongol invasions killed so many people that forests regrew and removed 700 million tons of CO2 from the atmosphere. Genghis Khan accidentally fought climate change through genocide. That's not a climate solution, Greta. Don't get ideas. And there you have it. The Mongol Empire in 20 minutes. From homeless orphan to conquering more land than anyone in history. From innovation in warfare to accidentally causing the plague. From religious tolerance to building skull pyramids. The Mongols proved that you don't need writing, cities, or even basic agriculture to conquer the world. You just need horses, bows, and absolutely zero chill. They created the largest contiguous land empire in history and lost it in less than 200 years because you can conquer the world from horseback, but you can't govern it from one. They connected east and west, destroyed centuries of learning, and gave us the Silk Road and the Black Death in the same delivery package. Modern Mongolia is just vibing with their horses and democracy, while the rest of us make video games about their ancestors. Genghis Khan killed so many people that we're still finding the demographic effects in DNA studies. Your 23andMe results saying you're 2% Mongolian. Yeah, that's probably Genghis saying what's up from beyond the grave. Subscribe, or I'll send Mongol horse archers to your location. I won't. Horses are expensive and probably illegal in your apartment complex. Hit the notification bell harder than the Mongols hit Baghdad. Comment which empire I should roast next. Rome? The Ottomans? The British? They all have body counts that would make true crime podcasts jealous. And remember, if nomadic herders with no formal education could conquer the most advanced civilizations of their time, you can probably handle that presentation at work. Unless your job is defending against Mongol invasions, then you're screwed. Stay curious, stay critical, and maybe stay out of Central Asia in the 13th century.